Good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to BusinessWorks Season 2. This is episode 6 of BusinessWorks, where we have it's basically a very special episode. So we will be talking about business journeys today. There are 3 amazing guests joining in today to talk about their journeys operating a business and how to work on a business while maybe you must be thinking of starting a business. And these business owners have some of them have been operating businesses for 5 years, 6 years. Some of them are working on startups, but we will find out everything so you can learn something new today. So I'm Angelo Leeson as usual, and this is BusinessWorks episode 6. So the first person that I want to bring in and introduce you is Param, who runs a business called InnoQ Events, if I'm correct. So let's get Param connected to our show, ladies and gentlemen. So if we can get Param linked to our show, he has been working in this event industry, I would say. So there's this special software package that they have. Oh, Param's here. So let's find out what he does from Param. Param, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks. How are you, Angelo?
I'm all good, and thank you very much, Param, for joining in. I know that you're extremely busy. You're working your main job as well. So let's start by just talking about what you do and how you started this company and what your company is.
Sure. Yeah, so Angelo, the journey for NoQ really began 3 years ago. I found myself at a music festival in Portugal, having a time of my life, and really the one thing that was bothering me at the time was to have to queue up for food and drinks. So it was at that point where the idea came about, and then I was lucky enough to meet a friend of mine a year after that, who shared the same kind of concerns. And then it's at that point where we started to work together to build a team. And in terms of what the business does, it's an app designed to allow people to order food and drinks. And so really it means that they can order it wherever they want, anywhere in the event or the venue, and enjoy the moment as much as possible. So if you imagine, paying like £100 for a ticket to watch your favorite artist, the last thing you want to do is miss that favorite song of yours, or miss the moment. So the app was designed to tackle that problem, and just overall, we're excited about the time right now and opportunities presents to us, in terms of we're a very, very crucial part of allowing events and venues to operate safely and open up safely, and that's essentially our number one goal right now.
Right, and we also have some slides that explains about what he does, which we will play in a minute. But before that, Param, how did you get this idea? When was the first time that you thought, I know that you shared how you got the idea, but when did you think that this is going to be a great business for you? Can you explain a bit about that process?
Yeah, I think, and to be honest, I started off just wanting to put my time and effort into something. I've had a lot of different ideas over the years, and it really just comes down to whether you are committed enough to put in the dedicated hours. But it's at the point where you start building a team, and the people are everything, right? So as you start expanding on that team and bringing in other friends or other people with different skill sets that also share the same vision, it really gives you that additional confidence to know that you're all believing in one kind of a objective and a goal. So that's where it starts, starting to be fun, and also it takes a while for you to start seeing results, but it's at that point where you start seeing unity and teamwork and just ideation. That was the best part about it all.
Right. And I know that you have a job as well. So you're working really hard to get both of these things going. So can you explain a bit about, how you manage all this stuff? I'm just thinking it's going
Yeah,
to be
sure.
extremely hard.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, so I was actually working out from London at a company called Kantar. So Kantar is a data company previously owned by a very large company called WPP, and now just bought over by Bain Capital. So that also has its challenging in my current role. Being owned by private equity now is just a much more uh, cutthroat. And then my, my job in London, I transitioned and moved over to the US. So I've started to work in New York, um, and now I'm the CFO for the North America region, and so that again just comes with additional pressures. Just owning a large P&L base along with hundreds of people that you have to manage and maintain. Um, so yeah, having both things going at once, it's definitely a challenge, and it's a lot of hard work and loads of hours, but it's been over the year.
And Param, like when you talk about running your business, so I know it's been a really hard time for the event industry, but I know that your product is very unique because you're focusing on that particular issue around events these days, and you're catering that particular segment of the market, a very niche. But how do you find it when most of our companies are struggling, especially in the event industry? How do you find it like to run this business in that space, even though it's a niche product? People might be reluctant on, like getting your product, or is it hard?
Yeah, I think naturally, being part of the industry where there are a lot of different challenges and things like that is difficult. However, the I guess our USP or where we stand out from the rest is we're just very hands on. We're a great team. We love meeting new people, and actually we're basically working alongside all our clients to come up with solutions together, right? So a lot of the stuff that we do, it's not just like an app that's built to basically work at every single event, but sometimes it does require a lot of customization or working with the event organizers to understand the logistics, and that's where it's actually again a lot of fun and a lot of teamwork. So um, from that end, we haven't found it difficult because we really are partnering up with them to drive solutions and improve uh, and enhance the experiences for their customers. So actually, they've been very welcoming of us, and are really we've had some tremendous feedback, and they actually love us being around, and our product really does ensure a safe environment for them to operate in.
Right. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining in, today we are talking about business journeys, stories of from businessmen and entrepreneurs. And if you're just joining in, make sure you subscribe and press the notification icon. So we bring in every week, there will be a different topic and you'll learn something new. So make sure you subscribe. And also, you can place your comments and questions. So at the end, we will be answering our guest will be answering your questions. So make sure you place those questions down below. And Param, going back to what we were talking about. So as a business owner, what can you tell to people who's thinking of starting businesses, or who has a business idea, and who wants to start a business, and like maybe if they want to know what's the first step of starting a business, what do you say? If we can get back, Param. Yes. So what do you say to those kind of emerging entrepreneurs or businessmen? What's the
Yeah.
first thing that you should be thinking of when you're starting a business?
I think, hello, Angela, can you
Can
still
you
hear
hear
me?
us? Yes, yeah, now you are clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say, like, to be honest, the first crucial thing is the vision, right? Everyone needs to have a very, the right drive, passion, and a really excellent vision, because it's very easy to have things that always continuously change things around. Like plans change, strategies change. However, that vision of to the finish line needs to be consistent throughout, and that's building that mindset is important. The other thing I would say is the support around you is very important. Be it if it's your girlfriend or your parents or your brother or whoever it is, that really is going to be crucial for you to succeed. Um, and then I found myself probably I should have maybe started a business maybe 5 to 10 years before because I always had ideas. But the first thing I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna save some money, I'm gonna do a job, and I'm gonna make sure that I have some saving and invest in my own business. But I want to tell all the people out there who've ever said that to themselves and basically just tell them not to say that to themselves because you don't need to have money to start a business. You could just get some really good feedback and get some commercial feedback or get some clients to support you. And I'm sure someone out there would find, would find your business lucrative and invest in you. So it's just about reading around the subject, speaking to the right people, and at the end of the day, not just waiting for the time to be right. It's just about making that time right for you now.
Right. And in terms of your business, what is the next step that you have in mind, or if and also before we speak about the next step, can you let us know about your team, like who are involved in this business, and what do you do, like what are the roles of these people who are involved? I know that when it comes to a startup, it's really important that you have an amazing team because it's really hard. You need that support. Now you talk about your family, your friends, and then like your girlfriend, your boyfriend, but still your team that's involved is really, really important. So let's talk a bit about your team, Param.
Yeah. I think it alludes to the first point I made, which was it's at the point where the team starts being built is where it becomes fun and you start really feeling like things are moving. Um, because the best investment you could get is the people backing you into the drive and the vision that you want to achieve, right? So it's not about capital. It's not about it's about people who are willing to put in time into something you believe in, right? So in terms of our team, it's expanding fairly quickly. We But I want to more focus on the co-founders and the teams, the immediate guys that are working with me. So we have, Andrea, who person I spoke about before, which is also had a similar idea. We two together came together and create this concept. And then you've got my friend, childhood friend of mine, Habib, who's basically our product manager, and he leads. He's very integral when it comes to knowing what is the requirements of our commercial clients and how do we get that into our product, right? So he communicates that to our tech team. We have a tech team as well. That's sourced. And then we also have another friend of mine called Bavin. He's actually a dentist, daytime dentist, but
All
he
right.
works a week on NoQ. And he's excellent. He's got great communication skills, and it's just about managing relationships and bringing in partnerships. So
Right.
that's the immediate team, and then we have a very very skilled set of board of advisors who basically guide the business through, scaling, expansion, those kind of things.
Right. And now the question, a very special question for you. What's the future for this? What's the future the vision that you have for your business. What's the next step? And the
Yeah.
final vision of your business.
Yeah. So Angelo, when I think about the UK and how it's working right now and how it's opening, I really, from the events perspective, I see drive-in cinemas becoming, they're huge, right? There's a lot of drive-in cinemas. Golf was another thing that was continuously operating during COVID because of the social aspect. The two factors that are consistently around in the last couple of months, right? And no Q has managed to penetrate into those sectors very well. So, I feel very confident knowing that as other sectors open up, there's absolutely no reason why we can't penetrate those markets. So I think in terms of the vision, it's taking a sector at a time, expanding in them, and basically just providing a great solution to all our clients in different sectors, and creating a product that really allows them to benefit and improve their current processes. And the high level vision really would be to make it work and then also attack the European market. It's a lot bigger than the UK when it comes to festivals and events. We completely understand that for the next 18 months, all the events are going to be 500 people or less because of COVID. But after we, move past the COVID era, we really want to start taking on the bigger festivals, and those kind of things.
And now I want to share a very special slide where all the information of NoQ events are placed. So you can follow their Instagram and their social media, support them. And we will have Param coming in to talk about the product specifically. And let me share the slide with you right now. So make sure you contact them if you're in the event industry and follow their social media. They have these amazing events coming on, and then they cater these amazing events. And make sure if you're an event organizer, get in touch with Param, write to them. And Param will be here to answer your questions in the Q&A section. And now we are going to go to a quick advert break, and there will be another special guest talking about their journey. We'll be back after this break.
At Fit to Trip, we want to offer travel insurance to as many people as possible. But all travel insurance companies want to do that, right? Well, no. If you suffer from a disability or have a medical condition, you may find that you're not covered by your current travel insurer. Deep in the small print, you'll see that most travel insurance policies will not cover medical or cancellation claims if you've suffered from or have an existing medical condition, like, for example, diabetes, heart disease or cancer. Fit to Trip is different. We use our online medical screening system to assess customers based on their medical condition and their destination, and provide them with travel insurance tailored individually, which covers them and their medical conditions whilst they're travelling. By just answering a few questions, you can get an instant quote from a choice of products that provide some of the highest cover levels in the market. So, enjoy travelling, safe in the knowledge that you and your family have that extra protection. Fit to Trip. Travel insurance to fit you.
This is my dad. He was once a bubbly, happy, and positive person. He had been a cancer patient for many years. When I was younger, I remember our long winter walks, the fun times in the park, and all those hilarious jokes. After recovery, he was constantly tired, demotivated, and closed off. I didn't see the amazing smile anymore. That's when I developed my first well-being range using what my mom used on me as a kid, coconut oil. I incorporated coconut oil with my extensive research in aromatherapy oils to help improve his mood. So I gave him a moisturizer, diffuser, and candle, which we named Caribbean Mood. I saw a difference in him, and I saw the amazing smile he used to have. I knew I had to share this with the world. Okay, giving the organic lifestyle you deserve.
Welcome to BusinessWorks Season 2. And we are talking about business journeys today with amazing set of guests. And if you are just joining in, remember to subscribe and press the notification icon. And every week we will be bringing in amazing topics on BusinessWorks. And we were talking to Param at NOQ Events, the CEO of NOQ Events, and he was talking about his journey. And now we have another special guest. We have Raj Muppala, the CEO and founder of Infinity, who runs a artificial intelligence-based company. So get him to our show. So Raj has been working closely with the artificial intelligence industry, as well as he has his own software packages that uses artificial intelligence to bring you some very special services. So Raj, how are you doing today?
Hi. Hi, Angela.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
I'm all good. Thank you, Raj, and thank you for coming today. I know
No,
you're
thanks.
extremely busy, as always. But
No, thank you for the time today, and also making time for me to come and talk and share the experience. It's really great. Thank you.
thank
And
you.
also
So
thanks to all of you as well, for making time and for the wonderful show.
indeed, we won't be in this position if not for our audience. So make sure you support us by sharing or subscribing, and share it with your friends, your family. Just make sure they subscribe. So that's what you can do for us. And you get to see all these different topics every week. And hope you learn something new today as well. And Raj, let's talk about your journey. How did Infinity start? What's the first step?
Okay, so it's interesting. Where do I start? So I've been an engineer myself, and I worked in many companies, but I never worked for more than 6 months in any company, which I know for sure that it's not for me. So I've been always thinking about running something to help, obviously to run businesses and obviously things like that. And I've been in the space of innovation for some time. I would say at least few years. I worked in companies like Hitachi and Shell, and big companies looking at innovation. But what's happening is that innovation is not happening as the way as they like to have it happen, right? So they're spending lots of money, lots of people, and putting people, but it's not happening. They came back, and obviously AI, artificial intelligence, is kind of uh, coming up very long, obviously in the last 5 years or so, it's been really brilliant. But I think the reason for starting our business, we call currently as AI Infinity, but actually we're now moving to high, human augmented intelligence Infinity. That's what the company will be called. And what the essence and the vision of the company is actually to use the technology, which is AI, artificial intelligence, and could be complementary technologies like blockchain or maybe IoT, to augment one thing, the human intelligence. So whatever we do, it's at the crux of making the human first. So that could be solving problems for humans, looking at the making the voice of the customers actually to tell to the governments as well as organizations. Thanks, Angelo, for showing that. I think this is exactly what the platform, what we developed, is about. How do we citizens, our opinions are heard? Because we're talking in social media, we're talking in news. There's so much of information available outside. How do you make sense of all this data? And as humans, we are. It's impossible to kind of analyze the data with our with our limited time. So this is where we use the technology AI right now to make sense of the data. And the product what we have right now is Alive Core, which effectively is a combination of Google plus social media together. And obviously, we can able to extract information from any source, unstructured data, social media sources, and also media sources and internal sources, and make sense of about any company in a matter of few seconds, so that at least people can able to understand what this company's reputation is and the sentiment about the brand. That's all we are about.
So yeah, we have a separate show talking about what this special AI package offers. It will give you real insight about your brand, but that's for a different show. So Raj, when you first came up with this idea, maybe there must have been this time where you thought, okay, I'm gonna start this new company, and I'm gonna just drop my day job and then work on this startup. How did that work? When did you start this company, and just tell us about the stepping stones of starting this company.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would like to actually say thanks to my parents and also, for my wife as well. I think obviously to be in this journey, also my sister, it's actually being very encouraging and supportive since I was, I'm from India originally, and that passion and intuition and determination made me where I am right now today. And I think in start in the stepping stones for the business, yes, I think my wife was obviously we've been talking about these ideas about okay, what is that we can do. And I think I just, it's an a year old company right now. So we just finished in August 2nd, the first year of our company. And we wanted to make the technology like AI, obviously make it simple, accessible, and human friendly. That is a core essence of what the company is about, right? So obviously, a lot of mixed feelings about AI in the market right now. People think about what it's good or bad, and yes, it's in the hands of the big names. I don't need to give the names like Google, Apple. Everyone is using it, but I think our vision is like, why don't we make the technology to make available to everyone? Could be small company, could be SME, small enterprise, even like Angelo for your business also. Like an example, you have lots of customers. This is where our journey started. Let's start it, and actually we'll make it through. I think that's the core essence of how the business started. And again, I had some background on this technology, and also I do understand the business very well. That actually had given an edge and solving one problem at a time, and looking at the customer angle and looking at this customer insights. Yeah, that's how it started.
Yep. And when you talk about business journeys and the journey so far, what were the hardships that you faced as a business owner, Raj? I know that you have, is it 2 years you said, right?
1 year, yes.
So what were the hardest part running a business within these 2 years? Something that you really don't forget. Maybe a special occasion, special hard occasion, I would say.
Yeah, I think definitely sure. I think there are many. I think one thing I've realized that I think where I am now, I think where it started, I think it's almost a year now, the company. Yes, for sure. I think I'm the only founder of the business right now, and when you start the business, the most important thing you need to do is okay, you need to be prepared to take what everyone says about it. You take whatever it is and you make it happen. You need to live on it. So you at times you have people, you have people like your CTO or your core team, your business people. One principle I think always I lived is if everyone leaves in the business today, you should be still going ahead. So you should still move on to your vision. So that is one thing I realized. And also obviously in this journey, a lot of people will try to lowball you, like big companies, like when you want to make partnerships, they say, what, you're a very small company, you're a new company. I think this will happen. This happened to everyone in the journey, like Google, Apple, an example, right? So I think the most important thing I would say is that yes, are you believing in yourself, and also are you willing to take the risk? Whatever happens, whether it's disappointments, I think there will be a lot in the way. I think you need to be very, very much prepared for that. So even if everyone leaves, your core technologist or your VP of sales, whatever you call as the guru who is actually good at sales, no, you need to be that person to drive the show, even if it is no one available. I think that is the determination and passion you need to have it. Otherwise, it's not a business I would call. You're just doing a job.
Right. And like especially the term that you use, you're just doing a job. So when you're operating a business, don't you think it should be something that you're interested in? So let's say some business, I have met several business owners. The good thing about my business is I get to meet loads and loads of startups and small to medium
Yes.
sized businesses as well as large companies. One thing that some business owners tend to do is they start a business, they sell it, and they keep doing this. But then there are other business owners who are like passionate about what they do, extremely passionate, I would say. Like if you ask about the business, the way they answer gives a lot of, like it shows a lot of passion basically. So do you think that a business owner or an entrepreneur who thinks of starting a business should have that passion in what he's doing, or do you think that it's better to have that like knowledge in starting a business? You go up to a certain level, sell it to a different company or a person. So what do you think about passion in business? So is it like for some it's just a job, right? But for some it's more than a job, you enjoy it. So can you give us a bit of your view about around this particular subject?
Sure, definitely. I think the passion is obviously there are many people talked about it. Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett. He's like 90 or 18, 88 or 90 years old. I think still likes what he's doing. Right. I think you're absolutely right. The passion. I don't. I think as a founder, obviously, as a CEO or MD of a business, if you don't have that, I think obviously people will get it. People will find it, right? Whether you are real or whether you are actually, saying it. And at the end of the day, money is a factor. Yes, you'll make a money on the way of the journey, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, right, and exit. That's fine. But I think what the most important thing, what I've realized is, Angelo, is about the customer. What is the problem you're trying to solve, customer, right? Say an example, many people talked about it. I applied that into my principle. Yes, passion is a powerful thing. You need to apply the passion into the focus, right? What is the focus you're doing it right now? So which could be like, you have customer, it could be small customer or big customer, doesn't matter. Are you making the customer happy? And if you are really, really good in that, making the first 5 or 10 customers, be with them, make their journey happy, make every feature available for them, I think that actually those people will be your evangelists. And
Right.
people get the passion in your team also. They will just, it's like a light, the fire, right? It will just go through. I think that is what I've noticed. And also at times, one thing is obviously true is that you need to have that, I would say, people call names, right? Like addiction, or not addiction, it's like, attentive to detail, right? An example, to be like obsessive about this technology product we're building. You need to have that. If you're not passionate about building it, anyone can really do that, right? And I would say yes, those two are really very important for the journey.
Perfect. And I also want to share this particular slide with all the information about Infinity. So let me share the slide now. And at the same time, Raj, we have a special show with you about their new software package. So make sure you tune in, subscribe to our show, press the notification icon So once the show is ready and we upload the link, live link, you'll get the notification. So don't miss out any of our shows. Make sure you subscribe. So we need a lot of, our goal is to at least get 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and to spread more knowledge, and hopefully more and more of you will learn something new every week. And we have another special guest, and this guest, let me talk about him after this break. So I'll catch you guys in 3 minutes. A quick break.
AI Infinity really is about helping companies to enable them to use AI at the optimum level and to be more AI-driven companies to solve complicated use cases about the fraud, an example, or maybe customer engagement, facial recognition, and we just wanted to help them to be that. We would see ourselves as visionaries in detecting some edge computing on a very real-time basis of applications what we have here to enable companies to apply in different verticals.
At Fit to Trip, we want to offer travel insurance to as many people as possible. But all travel insurance companies want to do that, right? Well, no. If you suffer from a disability or have a medical condition, you may find that you're not covered by your current travel insurer. Deep in the small print, you'll see that most travel insurance policies will not cover medical or cancellation claims if you've suffered from or have an existing medical condition, like, for example, diabetes, heart disease, or cancer. Fit to Trip is different. We use our online medical screening system to assess customers based on their medical condition and their destination, and provide them with travel insurance tailored individually, which covers them and their medical conditions whilst they're travelling. By just answering a few questions, you can get an instant quote from a choice of products that provide some of the highest cover levels in the market. So, enjoy travelling, safe in the knowledge that you and your family have that extra protection. Fit to Trip. Travel insurance to fit you.
Welcome back to BusinessWorks, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining in, we are talking about business journeys, and two of the amazing business owners were talking about their journey, and that was Param and the CEO of Infinity, Raj. They are both going to stay here till the end, so you get to ask questions from them. And if you're just joining in, make sure you subscribe and press the notification icon so you never miss any of our shows. And you can also just click on the information section of YouTube after the show, where we put all the information about our guests. So if you want to contact them, if you want to get some of their services, you'll get the chance. And we are and there's another guest that I want to connect to our studio to talk to. And this guest is very special. When I started my company, he was there to do some workshops at LSBU. I was doing a GES program, a graduate entrepreneurship scheme at LSBU, and he was one of people who did workshops and mentors. So there's a special place in my heart for him, because I learned some great stuff from Simon. So Simon Powell, the CEO of Fit2Trip, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Simon, for joining in today. And how are you?
Good to see you, Angelo. Thank you for that very kind introduction as well.
And thank you, because I've learned so much from you. So I wanted to, give our viewers the chance of getting to know about your journey, just to understand your journey, because you have been doing so much of workshops to all these new businesses, talking about what you went through and giving some ideas and tips for them. So let's start from the beginning. How did you start, Simon?
Well, I suppose probably the best way to start is to explain a bit about Fit2Trip and what it is that we do. So Fit2Trip is a travel insurance business, and we sell travel insurance to people who have pre-existing medical conditions. So that's our unique selling point. And the vision for that business came out of my personal experience working.
We are having
the travel
some
industry.
right.
Oh,
I think we had a
can you hear me
connection
okay?
issue. Now you're clear. Yeah. I think we had a
Okay.
connection issue. So yeah.
So let's quickly go through. Yeah, my Fit2Trip came out of my experience in the travel insurance industry, and that was very much well. And I've been working in that for 20 years. And similar to your previous speakers, I too work for large corporations as well in the insurance sector, so AIG, Allianz, and those sorts of organisations. And it was in those roles that I'd ascertained that outside of the English-speaking marketplaces, that consumers who had existing medical conditions were not serviced particularly well in the travel insurance arena. And so, using my connections in the industry and partnerships that I had, I basically decided that it would be good to set up Fit2Trip to look at English-speaking countries to provide products in their particular sector. I guess really the catalyst for me on my journey was redundancy, because again, very similar to your previous speakers, I've been working for some considerable time, and I think the challenge is when you do work for an organisation, it puts you into a comfortable situation to a certain extent, because you have a salary coming in every month, and you get to a position in life and you realise that you've got all the usual accoutrements that go with being a particular age, mortgages, children, those sorts of things. But ultimately, the start of a journey can also be a personal desire, in terms of, as many of the people who have already spoken, your previous speakers have said, a vision to actually achieve something. And this was my particular vision with Fit2Trip. Having worked in the industry, I could see that there was a gap in the market, and I wanted to see if I could resolve that situation, because I was sure that there was a business opportunity there. So the redundancy was a catalyst for that back in 2013. And that's when I kind of started on me. But I guess even before that, I had this kind of idea that not to be exploited, basically, and taken and basically developed. So I started Fit2Trip in 2014. At the time, I was doing LSBU, and I guess one of the other things your previous speakers have alluded to it already is this one. Basically, you do need the help of others, and probably one of the people that I would thank, obviously aside from my family, my immediate family, my LSBU at the time, who highlighted LSBU's enterprise environment that they had literally at that time had just finished developing. And and you walked in the door, the paint was still wet practically on the place. I had been a part-time student. I've been doing a master's degree over a 18, 24-month period. So I hadn't had that full kind of residential university experience. And telling my supervisor in particular about what I wanted to do, she pushed towards this particular team of people in the enterprise area. So again, I can echoing what the previous speakers have said. I would kind of vision is critical, and I think planning. Think about the elements you need within your business as much as you can plan. There is an element of having to pin headlong to try and get and actually start in your arena, but planning is absolutely, I think, because having the idea is the easy action that is always the toughest part of any journey like this. So going back to my own personal journey, very much started working post-degree. 2014 was about pulling all the partnership involved with. My industry is quite a conservative industry, and other speakers had highlighted, whilst in my when I was working for a living, and I was wearing the of organisation, everybody was always very happy to do business with me. As soon as you start, I'm a small company, I'm looking to do this, this, and this, it can be remarkably challenging. All I would say is you've just got to keep knocking at the door, and you've got to, particularly if your business is involved with partnerships, you've just got to keep pushing. And sometimes, you mentioned in a previous question about should entrepreneurs be thinking this is just a job, do they need a particular drive? I would say, yes, you do need a drive. I sometimes talk about having the cult of entrepreneurship, because you sometimes to, really be motivated and self-motivated, get up in the morning and keep banging where potentially, you have not had success previously. So, you had to use the fairy tale metaphor, you sometimes have to kiss. Anyway, so we started trading, going back to Fit2Trip in 2015, and basically through a number of different partnerships that we've established in the intervening, grown this exponentially. We are having somewhat of a challenging time at the moment with COVID, along with most of the travel industry, but keep
I think we are having some connection issues. We are having a bit of connection issues, Simon. What was that again? Like with the...
I'm really sorry.
Oh, no worries. It's totally fine. We couldn't hear you for... Are you there? Can you hear us?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can
it's
hear
better
you
now. Yeah. So yeah, with the changing environment, how is it affecting your business, Simon?
It's been very challenging. You have to, I guess, within the travel sector, appreciate that nobody's really traveling anywhere at the moment, and so our forecasts that we have had, which we had at 2020, out the window. I guess this is where the key challenge is, I think, when you're running a business for, really, because you then have to think about perhaps all the less pleasant things, such as how do we start to control our costs even more aggressively? What is our position on how we're spending in terms of development business, and you just simply, it's almost antithesis of what you would think about as an entrepreneur. in terms of business development. We want to sell. We want to go and develop our business. It's been very challenging, without a shadow of a doubt.
So I think most of the businesses are facing this. It's all about maneuvering through this hard times. It's all about planning and focusing on what we are doing, and let's hope for better days. And
Indeed we do.
And also, Simon, we are going for a quick advert break in a minute, and we will be answering some questions, and I have some questions for you as well, and two of our other guests as well. So before we go to this advert break, I would also just want to remind you all, just make sure you subscribe, and still you have time to post your questions. We are getting loads and loads of questions today, and I'll make sure I'll get some of I don't think we have time to answer all, but we'll try our best to answer as much as possible. So we'll be back after this break.
AI Infinity really is about helping companies to enable them to use AI at the optimum level and to be more AI-driven companies to solve complicated use cases about the fraud, an example, or maybe customer engagement, facial recognition, and we just wanted to help them to be that. We would see ourselves as visionaries in detecting some edge computing on a very real-time basis of applications what we have here to enable companies to apply in different verticals.
At Fit to Trip, we want to offer travel insurance to as many people as possible. But all travel insurance companies want to do that, right? Well, no. If you suffer from a disability or have a medical condition, you may find that you're not covered by your current travel insurer. Deep in the small print, you'll see that most travel insurance policies will not cover medical or cancellation claims if you've suffered from or have an existing medical condition, like, for example, diabetes, heart disease, or cancer. Fit to Trip is different. We use our online medical screening system to assess customers based on their medical condition and their destination, and provide them with travel insurance tailored individually, which covers them and their medical conditions whilst they're travelling. By just answering a few questions, you can get an instant quote from a choice of products that provide some of the highest cover levels in the market. So, enjoy travelling, safe in the knowledge that you and your family have that extra protection. Fit to Trip. Travel insurance to fit you.
Welcome back to BusinessWorks, Season 2, Episode 6. If you're just joining in, you're joining in for the Q&A round, where we were talking about business journeys and what it takes to run a business from businessmen. So, we have some questions. The first question is, see, by Piero, I think. Yeah, if I pronounce your name right. How do you manage your time? This is for Param. If we can get Param linked to our studio. Param, you have 2-3 questions, but this is the first one that I want you to answer. How do you manage your time, Param?
To be honest, it's been tough, Angelo. In terms of managing my time, I try and dedicate the morning to NoQ, and then I do like from 2 till 11 p.m. I work on my actual job, like my other job, and then I log back on into NoQ from like 11 to 2 a.m. So it's a lot of like 20-hour days, and not having many weekends. But again, you only do that if you really enjoy what you're doing. So that's key, right? Like just having the passion to continue doing what you want to do, and with the hope that one day it gets to a decent level, and you could get invested in and just focus on that solely.
Indeed, it's about the passion, isn't it, Param? You have to love what you do.
Yeah, literally, because otherwise you'll be tearing your hair every day. So.
Indeed. Thank you very much. And Piru, I hope you got your answer. And we have another question for Raj. How difficult was it to give up your job? And that's from David. Raj, there's a question by David. How difficult was it to give up your job?
Yeah, I think it wasn't difficult at all for me because I never stayed in a job for more than 3 months or 6 months. You can ask.
Right.
Because always I knew that I wanted to do something in a job, but it's not the environment for me. So yes, I think to answer your question, yes, everyone at some stage in their life, you have to make that step, right? Whether you do it 25, 30, 40, 50, people have done that over a period of time. And I think there is no right answer for it. I think you need to find exactly, yes, everyone needs a comfort, but I think you need to just think outside the box, right? And that intuition or passion, whatever you think of, I think that you have to believe in it. Because even if you have investment as an example, it doesn't mean anything, right? So you still have the challenges with money or without money in a business. And you need to be in that, drive that, whatever you're passionate about, right? And also have the right team with you. And I think that will actually help your time, some of the things which you talked about, Angelo. And of course, the time management is so crucial. And I'll tell you one simple thing. You might all know Twitter, Jack Dorsey, right? So it's so much to learn from him. He's a CEO for 2 companies, Twitter as well as Square. It's brilliant. He's running the 2 successful billion-dollar businesses in the planet. And he manages time so effectively, right? And if you can manage that, everyone can do that. We need to make our time better, and also, he takes weekends off, no work. So running $2 billion business, a presidential campaign is going on, a lot of information about Twitter. And I think, it's all about making the time effectively, right? And also surround yourself with a great team so that they can handle the things, and you don't need to be on the computer all the time, which I'm trying to be better at. So.
Perfect. That's a really important answer. Use your time efficiently. I think that's the main, I would say, the cream of the answer that Raj just gave. And we have another. So I hope, David, if you're watching, I hope you got your answer. And we have Dominica. A question for Simon. What's the hardest part in running a business? At least for you, what's the hardest part in running your business, Simon? So let me get Simon connected back to our studio. What do you think, Simon?
The hardest part is, I suppose, the buck stops with you. I suppose that's it. At the end of the day, you've got to you live and die, you rise or fall by your own actions and decisions, basically. That's not really a hard part, it's a motivational part. I suppose you could be pragmatic and say that at the beginning of running a business, it can be tough from a financial perspective if you're building that business up and you're doing it using broadly your own cash, which is what I did. So you have to make some tough decisions, and you have to have a family that's understanding in terms of you're going on a particular journey. And unfortunately, you're taking your family along with you on that journey as well, whether they like it or not. So I suppose if you're thinking in a practical way, yes, that is. I suppose some of the other tough things can be, as many of the speakers have already alluded to, you work with partners, and if you're working with multinationals or large organisations, you have a bureaucracy within that organisation, and they may not wish to move at the same speed that you do, and so consequently, you might find yourself then stuck in those sorts of slower, becalmed phases. So those are the tough issues, I would say, basically.
Right. Thank you very much. And Dominica, I hope you got your answer. And we have another. This viewer was one of our guests when we had our film, when we were talking about the film industry. Amandeep, the projects manager of Tongues on Fire, if I remember it right. They are the ones that organize UK Asian Film Festival. So she has some questions directed at Param. Loads of questions actually. And let me ask one. Does the NoQ app allow for data to be collected so that a business can see how many orders have been made and see other results, etc.? Param, over to you.
Yeah, I mean that's one of our key points in terms of one of our key offers, right? So Angelo, when we're done with an event or being part of a venue, at the end of each week or at the end of each event, we do send data to our vendors, to our clients to help them pre-plan or help them plan better in the future. Give them an insight into what kind of products are selling, what's not doing too well. And also in the future, as we continue to develop the product further, that is going to be a key part of our revenue stream, and we're going to work even harder to ensure that we're increasing the level of analytics that we provide.
Right. And we will be talking about your product in detail in the future, so I think most of the questions will be answered by then, Amandeep, if you're listening in. And thank you for your questions, and hope you got the answer. And there's another question directed at Raj, if I can get Raj connected. Raj,
Sure.
Tell us a bit about your team. There's an Instagram question that I received by
great.
Danny. So Danny, this is your question. So Raj, tell us a bit about your team.
So yes, I'm fortunate to have a great team with me, and obviously being an innovative tech company, we are surrounded by PhDs in AI, and obviously we're doing cutting edge research. I think yes, we have a solid technical team, and who are all innovative.
Raj, just a quick interruption. One of our viewers were asking us what AI is. So let me tell you, AI, artificial intelligence. That's what we always use. We tend to use AI in short. So Raj is actually his software platforms. They use artificial intelligence technology. So AI is actually artificial intelligence. Sorry about that, Raj. Just go ahead, please.
No, I think it's fine. I think just to add the point on AI for sure. I think we all know AI. It's brilliant technology. I think what it is like AI has been in our game, in our daily life. For example, we have smartphones, smart recognition, facial recognition technology is powered by AI. Everyone uses Amazon nowadays, and Amazon uses AI for customer segmentation, like your preferred items to buy, or I think the next recommendations. I think every company has been using Facebook. We have a friend recommendations powered by AI. So every AI is being used everywhere, and obviously we've been the consumers. So obviously we don't need to know about how the technology is based on, but actually that's our point as well. Why don't we use AI to actually make it efficient for our businesses? Just hope that answers the audience that question about what AI and also how it is useful and also how it can be useful.
So Danny, I hope I think Danny was the one who asked the question. So yep, hope you got that answer. Do you have more to add to that,
No, I think the
Raj?
question was a team, right? Yes, I think we have surrounded ourselves with the great technologists, like from AI. Obviously, they are cutting edge people, and also most importantly, that the people running the business, like beside me, we have great team of advisors, and who are actually very important for a business actually to could be making your decisions, right? Because when you're running a business, you need to have a solid board, so that at least the most important thing is that emotional management, right? If you master that one thing, emotional management, you can run the business, which means
Right.
that you should be making decisions without having an emotion. If you get £1 million contract, should not be attached too much on it, and because obviously there's a lot of work also together. So I think that is one thing I've learned, and also that a great team around you will actually help you. A team of advisors, the good technical team, operations, and it's a journey. You won't get it on the day one, and yeah, I think people will come and go, and you just need to stay by, and people who are willing and innovative, they will be with you.
Perfect. Thank you, Raj, and Danny, I hope you got your answer. And we have one more question, and unfortunately, this is the last question that we are gonna go for, and this is directed at Simon. So, Simon, traditionally, insurance companies needs a lot of capital to start. So, it's very hard to like start an insurance firm. How did you overcome this?
Okay, so here we are an insurance broker agency. So we act as a middleman,
Right.
and so we don't actually pay a customer's claims. We work with AXA at the moment as our insurer. So we work with them to create products, and obviously we negotiate on those products and the pricing that we get, and we take a commission from those sales that we make through our own platforms, basically. So we do all the sales, the marketing, and the customer service function, but the paying of claims is actually something that's done through AXA themselves, and they are the ones that need the capital to set up the insurance business. I am actually in the process of, because we've gone down a certain way with FitTrip, looking at, though, setting up something a little regulated, but that's another story, as they say.
So we can get you in a
I don't know if you
future
got all
show.
that. We seem to freeze.
Yeah, no, we heard
You
what
may
you
well
just
be
said.
able to.
So in the future, we'll be able to connect back with you to understand the new journey of your business. Is it completely new, or is it like, are you thinking of completely changing the way you're doing business? Is that what you're thinking of, Simon?
It's the next. It's the next branch. The next branch of what we're going to do. It's a necessary thing to take us to the next level, basically. So that's we've got to get 6 months first, and but yeah, we've got lots of plans, and again, it's the next stage in this process, in this journey, basically.
Perfect. And when that happens, we'll make sure that Simon comes on to our show to talk about that. And I'm totally excited for you, Simon. And thank you very much for all of you guys, all three of you, Param, Raj, and Simon, for joining in today, talking about your journeys and helping our viewers understand how difficult or how easy it is to run a business. It's about the passion. That's what we've learned. And it's a journey, and you have to make a decision if you're thinking of starting a business. And I get the privilege of meeting so many businesses, and I feel that I'm lucky in a way to hear all these stories, and that's why I thought of inviting these businesses, at least some, at least three, to talk about their journeys. And we will be doing this in a regular basis. So if you think that you have a wonderful story, a wonderful business journey that you want to share with the world, you can write to us. You get all the details down below at our ticker. Let me get it. Yeah, there you go. So get all the information, write to us, follow us, subscribe to us, comment down below what you think about the show. And we try to bring these shows in a regular basis every week, and hope you learn something new. That's the whole idea of this show, spreading some knowledge. So you as a business owner or maybe you are a student or you're a person who might want to learn something new. This is for you. So in return, make sure you subscribe and share it with your friends and family. Maybe they'll learn something new too. And I'm very thankful to our, there's a very special person that I have to mention. All these days, he was the one who brought these shows to you. Our switcher, or as I call it, broadcast manager, who does everything, because we had to completely change our way of doing the shows. So let me take 2-3 minutes more of your time to explain. So we had to completely change our workflow. So all the stress was on our broadcast manager, Venushka Kondegam. And in one of our future shows, we are planning on explaining to you and showing all the work that we do behind the scenes, the lighting systems that we use, the camera systems, and the system that we use to broadcast this. And it's extremely tough to do it with a limited amount of people because of the lockdown situation and the changing virus situation that we all know of. So keep subscribing, keep sharing, keep watching our shows, and you'll see how we do our shows in the future. But next week, we are talking about the revolutionary technology in construction industry and architectural industry. We will be having Neil Whitehead. He has been on our show, like I think in season 1. But you will be seeing him and some amazing guests talking about the revolutionary technology in those 2 areas. But before that, the gyms are open, guys. Make sure you stay fit. I just went to gym today and then had a nice workout. And the weather, I totally enjoyed the weather today. Make sure you stay fit, stay healthy. And I'll see you next week. And by the way, tomorrow is going to be a really hot day. Make sure you drink loads and loads of water. And I'll catch you next week with an amazing topic. I'm Angelo Leeson. I'm your host. And this is BusinessWorks, episode 6. And I'll see you next week. Take care now.